Welcome to the Expert in You Showcase, the show where we bring you quick, powerful conversations with elite entrepreneurs and other professional business experts to share their best strategies, secrets, and tips to help you have more success in your business and life. I'm your host, Carden, and this show is brought to you by Expert in You, where we empower professional entrepreneurs, business owners, and experts to become influential figures and celebrities in their markets and add 6 to 7 figures with more ease. Discover a game-changing secret that attracts leads, qualifies them effortlessly, warms them up for your offer, and hands them over ready to say yes. We want to make closing deals for you a breeze. It's time to stop chasing clients and consistently fill your calendar with highly qualified conversations and sales opportunities every month. Increase your influence, impact, and accelerate your income and strategies that work. Book your business accelerator call with me now at acarden.com and let's map out your next step.
My guest today is fairly new to business. She's been in business a couple of years as an entrepreneur. She told me she's just made her first hires, so that's always a really exciting place to be. But she is not new to her profession. She is a true expert. She's been doing her expertise for over 20 years. And so Doris Jackson-Shazier, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Anne. So excited about being here.
I am so happy to have you on here. I can't wait to dive in. You have a book out. When did your book get published, Doris?
So I published a book last year. It was more of a personal parenting book with a lot of leadership elements called Raising Justice, Lessons Learned Through Motherhood. I believe that motherhood was my first leadership position as an adult.
You're right.
And I love to make those parallels between leadership in the workforce and leadership in the home.
I love that. So why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about your kind of how you got here, what made you decide to make the leap into entrepreneurship, kind of what your background was, and then also who you serve and what it is you actually sell in your business.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So again, I'm Doris Jackson-Shazier. I am the leadership coach and principal at Shazier Coaching and Consulting. And I made the big leap from corporate America about 2 years ago into full-time entrepreneurship, honestly, after experiencing a toxic work environment. I had been a leader who had raised through the ranks. I was with my last company for about 15 years. I've had the pleasure of being a manager, story level, district level, regional level before exiting as a senior director of leadership development. And so I had spent a lot of time cultivating leadership programs and experiences to help develop salesmanship, coaching ability, and just those different type of things to help the leaders be strong, be stronger leaders. And so I took the best part about my job and the things that I love the most and created a business out of it. Although I was excited to get out of the corporate structure, I still wanted to create leadership programming and help to develop teams. I have kind of put a signature, what I would say, on my secret sauce and my framework, which is I focus on helping leaders to create high accountability, high morale environments. What I've noticed over the last 20 years is that people seem to struggle with having both. They either have really high standards and lots of accountability in the environment, or they have great relationships and high morale, and you see the standards deteriorate. And so I specialize in helping helping leaders to adapt a leadership standard that allows them to have both. And it isn't just limited to the workplace, it's also at home. So I also help people to better manage that duality of, being a high performer at work and then feeling like they have to take off a hat or be someone different at home. Because I've struggled as a mother with the duality of being a mom and a wife and then being in such a powerful leadership position at work, and how do I find a balance? And so high accountability, high morale is not limited to the workplace, it's also focusing at the home. And so my primary clients are small business owners, executive leaders who are just looking for that balance. They're looking for a thought partner. I am an ICF accredited a leadership coach. And so I serve as not only as a one-on-one coach, but I do team coaching and group coaching. And then I also serve as a consultant where I'm able to sit side by side, identify the issues in the business, craft a strategy and a plan that we can implement to help, fill that gap and that need, and then
Mm-hmm.
support the team along the way through, again, coaching or, workshops and facilitating different type of experiences, whether that's brainstorming sessions or one-on-ones. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm really that go-to thought partner as you're trying to grow your business in that people area. In
Mm-hmm.
short, I like to tell people, if you have a people problem, I have a solution. And so I'm excited about just partnering with people and building strong leaders across all industries.
I love this. I love the way you merged high accountability and high morale. I think that's a great kind of a spin on things. There's a lot of high performance out there, and you kind of hear a lot of the same language. So I love that. So when you are going in and working and you're helping create a strategy with people, and now first of all, do you work only with women? Do you work with men and women? Or it's
Men and women, men and
okay,
women. So I'm
okay,
not
great.
limited.
Okay, great. It's good. No, it's good for people to know that as well.
Yeah.
And are there particular industries that you work in more than other industries?
So I'm definitely sought out a lot in the retail restaurant space,
Oh,
because
okay.
my background is in retail restaurants and logistics, actually. I've
Okay.
also worked as a logistics manager for a large company. But to be honest with you, I have not been limited by industry. I'm always open to going in and
Mm-hmm.
learning more about the
Mm-hmm.
different industries. So far, I've worked a lot with healthcare. I've
Mm-hmm.
worked with public service. So I worked with the state of Florida, the state of Virginia, and I've worked with a lot of schools, mainly
Mm.
charter and private,
Oh,
because
nice.
there seems to be more of an entrepreneur spirit there. And
Uh-huh.
so, and the way that they lead their teams. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, private schools and charter schools and public schools, but mainly in that private charter sector. And so,
Okay.
yes, I'm always interested to tap into new industries to see how high accountability, high morale translates into their environment.
Okay, great. So do you have somewhat of a framework or a signature program that you go in and basically help them with, or kind of a progressive program that you walk them through?
Yeah, so I typically have three different tiers of structures that
Okay.
people fall into. They either are one-on-one coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and this is typically that executive leader, or the majority of my leaders are director level. And they're looking
Okay.
for a coach who gets it, a coach who has
Mm-hmm.
been a director before. I've had a team as large as 10,000 across 5 states and 97 locations. And so they want to talk to someone when they're talking about the things that they're struggling with, the challenges that they're having, the type of people problems that are coming to them. They feel really comfortable talking to someone who is not only a coach, but who has lived that life and can speak from
Mm-hmm.
past experience. So the one-on-one coaching is one way that my clients experience me. And then I have a lot of people that tend to be coaching/consulting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I come in, they're usually dealing with high turnover, low morale, maybe gossip in the workplace, feeling like they're a robot, like they've been saying the same thing over and over again and no one's getting in. So I kind of come
Mm-hmm.
in, I partner with them. We consult on the communication, or we identify what the root issue is. Most of the
Right.
times, it's a gap in the leadership. And so
Yes.
I have
It
to have
always
that
is a
tough
gap in the,
conversation
it
that,
always is.
yeah, yeah. I have to
Yeah.
have the tough conversation that, when the head is sick, so is the whole body.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so, yes, we're going to consult and I'm going to help you facilitate a workshop or implement a plan into the environment that will
Mm-hmm.
change the environment and the dynamic. But also, I want to do one-on-one coaching with you to elevate your leadership style so that you can maintain the standards that we're going to put in
Mm-hmm.
place. And so I have
Yeah.
a lot of people that they do coaching and consulting
Mm-hmm.
together, and it works out very well.
Very good. So do you find that egos get in the way sometimes,
Yes.
that you have to kind of break those walls down?
Yeah, a good amount
Uh,
of times. And I would tell you, particularly with my small business owners, because they are
mm,
experts in what they do, they found a lot of success in the business that they're running, and they tend to think the hiccups are other people.
mm-hmm.
There nobody wants to work nowadays. Nobody wants to listen nowadays.
Right.
It's everyone else. And then I have to be the person that comes in and says, hey, that may be a small percentage of the issue, but let's talk about, have you ever invested in your leadership development?
Mm,
How did you learn how to become a boss? Yeah, you had the money, you opened a business, you're an expert at this particular skill, but what have you invested in learning how to be a great leader? And most of
mm-hmm.
them have no
Have
leadership
never done
training.
it.
Yeah,
Correct.
they've never done it. They don't have evaluations and
Hmm.
process. They don't understand performance management. And so I have to be the person that kind of brings that to their attention.
Hmm.
And sometimes it makes for a good match and it closes the deal. Other times I don't hear from them again.
You can't fix people that don't want to be fixed, right? Or you can't help
Exactly.
people that aren't, yeah, you can
Yeah,
lead a
yeah,
horse
yeah.
to water.
Yeah, yep,
You
yep,
can't
yep,
make
yep.
it drink. I hear that across the board. And I've worked in over 80 industries as a coach and a consultant. And I discovered that same thing early on. I'm like, why don't these people want help? And it
Yeah.
comes down to sometimes they're embarrassed. They think
Mhm.
they should know how to do everything. And that
Yeah.
nothing could be further from the truth. And I use the same thing. Hey, did you go to business school? Did you go to school for finance?
Yeah.
Do you understand really running a business and all of the pieces that go into business? What makes you think that you should be an expert at that? Did you study,
Exactly.
are you a marketing guru? Like what makes you think
Yeah.
you should understand all of that? And, kind of breaking down those walls because they do have this perception that just because they've started a business and had some success in business, they should know everything. And that's just
Yeah.
not, it isn't the case. And we
Yeah.
all
And
have to
I
learn.
exactly. I have to tell them what got you here won't get you to that next level or may
Yes.
not keep you here. And so how do you continue to grow? How do you refine? How do you adapt? And or how do you evolve is a better
Hmm.
word. And sometimes it's challenging for them. So I find that a lot with my small business owners, not as much with some of the executive leaders. They're a
They've
little bit
probably
more
had
open to
some
feedback.
kind, yeah,
Yeah,
they probably had some kind of training or leadership training along the way when they're in a corporate environment,
exactly.
but small business, not so much. Hmm.
Yeah. And then it's that growth mindset is there. They understand that
Yes.
just because I'm good at this doesn't mean that I don't need more help or for someone to help me get to the next
Hmm.
level. I tell them I'm a coach who has a coach,
Yes, yeah. And
so they all got one.
I think of executives as well. It's kind of cool right now to have an executive coach. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
an end thing. And
yeah,
many of them, it's not new. The coaching concept is not new to them. They
exactly.
realize that people that are very highly successful all have coaches. But yeah, in the small business sector, I remember when I first became a business coach and I would tell people and they'd be like, well, what does the business coach do? And I was like, they didn't even know. Now, of course, we're a dime a dozen, but yeah, they didn't even realize it. And so trying to educate them on what that looks like. And uh,
Yeah,
so I love that we're talking about this. This
yeah.
probably
And
hasn't
then
come out in a conversation.
yeah, and then another thing, they don't budget for it. They don't
No,
budget for
no,
development
no, they do
of
not.
themselves or their
No.
team. So they can be a tough sell. And to be honest with you, the small business owners are my heart, but they
Yeah.
are the hardest sell ever. Also, because they
Hmm.
don't budget for their development. It's not a part of the
Yes.
plan.
Yes, no, that's so true. So, what are the main things when you go in and you start working with someone? You said you kind of develop that strategy. Do you have sort of a framework that you work through, or I like to call it like a signature program of some kind that you work through with them?
It depends on again, whatever the need is. If they do my
Hmm.
corporate transformation partnership, that's more
Hmm.
of that coaching and consulting blend where
Hmm.
I am working with their team or the leadership team, sometimes about 4 to 5 members. They're all getting individualized coaching. So that one-on-one coaching, we created an
Hmm.
individual development plan for them,
Hmm.
along with monthly workshops that they're attending to help grow them as a team. And so it's the trifecta almost of having this private coaching along
Hmm.
with the group and team building and
Hmm.
knowledge, along with whatever the strategy is in place to help develop and push the team. Because I'm coaching at that leadership level, there's often a cascading plan in place. And so, what
Hmm.
do you do with this information? How do you implement this into the environment? And what are the objectives, or what do we want to see out of our subordinates based off of this information that we're giving? So I would say that's probably, especially at that corporate level, my most popular signature package. And again, it's a
Hmm.
combination of the coaching and the consulting piece. And so you're looking for a transformation of the whole culture with
Hmm.
that. Hmm.
Right. So I want to help people kind of peek behind the curtains a little bit of your business since you're
Yeah.
kind of just a couple of years in here,
Uh-huh.
because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of new entrepreneurs watching this
Yeah.
show, and
Awesome.
they're looking for the best nuggets. Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement.
So how do you price for your services? Do you price by the hour? So you're kind of a coach consultant, so to speak. Do you price by the hour? Do you do value pricing? How do you structure your offers?
So I would tell you my first few months in business, I did the hourly thing because I was
and you
still
found
caught
out what a
up.
mistake.
Yeah, I found out very quickly. I appreciate the fact that I'm a fast learner. Like I found out within that first quarter that I wasn't pricing myself accurately. Like, and so I read the book Value-Based Pricing. I mean, Value-Based Coaching, and
Yes.
Game Changer and Mindset Shift. And so I think a lot more about the impact that I'm going to make in terms of how I set my pricing. And so, especially when I'm doing consulting, I have to come in and really understand the holistic need of the business. And I always try and give the client 2 to 3 recommendations and options. And so they can kind of decide what price range they want to be in. But that big price is going to be ultimately, this is what is going to, fix whatever the problem is with a sustainable plan. And so the pricing will be based on that. Now, let's say they do my traditional level up your leadership where I go over the top 5. It's my group coaching package. I go over the top 5 leadership core concepts. These are the things for maybe emerging leaders, or I'm new in my manager or director role, and I really want to refine these. I want to enhance my leadership capability. I do my standardized leadership coaching, level up your leadership group coaching program. It runs for 12 weeks. I think it's reasonably priced at $2,500. It's a nice sizable investment for getting a leadership assessment, for having these group coaching sessions, for learning the 5 leadership cores, meaning you will get 5 different workshops in which we will go over these. And then we will go over implementation strategies. What does this look like to implement these behaviors or these core competencies into your job or into how you lead your subordinates? And so that's, the group coaching package. And I tend to get a lot of leaders that kind of join that. But
now,
the
do they
consulting
typically
piece,
cover that themselves, or does their company
both. Some of
cover?
them, the company covers it. Some of them, they're not necessarily, they're getting the coaching, but they're not necessarily attached to their job. And so this is something they're doing for themselves. And so they will pay for it directly. But I've had it where both. And then the bigger signature, like the corporate transformation partnership package, it depends on the amount of leaders that will be going through the program. And then they have the option to choose 6 months or 9 months of the partnership in which I'm working with them. And so the prices will vary based off of that.
Now, are you doing a lot of your coaching with them? Is it remote, or are you going into their businesses, into their companies?
Yeah, so far it's been virtual. However,
Oh, nice.
yes, yeah. So the virtual is very helpful. I just picked up a client where we're going to do hybrid, where I will be meeting in person once a month. They're a local client. They want that in-person engagement. Their business is set up to where they can have that level of, they can all pull away at the same time throughout the day and be in office. And so we're going to do hybrid, where half of it is virtual, the other half is in person. So I'm excited about it.
Now, are they close to you, or will you have to travel quite a ways?
No, they're close to me. I live
Oh,
outside of Orlando,
that's
Florida.
not so bad then. Yeah.
Yes. So it definitely permits, but I am open to travel. I've done leadership workshops all across the country.
Okay. So this is great. So what would be just a couple of real tips or strategies that you would like to just share that people could walk away with today and apply, that could help start transforming whether it's their business and the people that are working for them, or if an executive is listening to this, their culture?
So a couple of different tips, and this one is going to maybe to perhaps other coaches in the business, if you're looking to do this, is this something that you're interested in? The first thing, and it's the most simplest thing, I'll be honest with you, is listening.
Mm-hmm.
You have to listen. When I think about the feedback that I get from my clients, part of what has stood out with them is the way in which I listen. I
Mm.
come in, I observe, I am curious about their business. I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious about not only their process, I'm curious about how did we get here? Where did it start? Tell me a little bit
Mm-hmm.
about you. But I think if you listen and are curious, you make for such a different type of leader, such a different type of consultant, such a different type of
Mm-hmm.
partner. So I know it sounds super simple, but I think sometimes we breeze over and we rush to get to solution and we don't spend
Mm-hmm.
enough time in discovery. And
So
so,
good.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's one of the things that I would say. And that transitions into, I guess I'm thinking about it as a consultant or another coach or entrepreneur, but really
Mm-hmm.
in all aspects of leadership, listen,
Mm-hmm.
listen, and listen, listen and be curious.
Yeah,
Is
no,
the
that's
first thing
great.
that I would say. The other thing that I would like to offer to others, and this one applies to work and home, because there are probably a lot of leaders listening, and sometimes we think leadership is only for the workplace. And I
Mm.
love to tell people that those skills are transferable to the home. One of the things that I learned at work that I brought home was individual development plans. I was required to write a development plan for all of my leaders, and I'm responsible for navigating their careers and helping them to be successful. And it hit me that why don't I have that for my children?
Mm.
Why don't I
So
have that
good.
at home? What's stopping me from having individual development plans at home? And so I'm a big advocate for sharing
I
with
love it.
others to create individual development plans for the people that are important in your life and co-create, may I add.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
for each one of my children, we have individual development plans. How do they want to grow socially, academically, um, my older child financially? We check on this quarterly, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
very, very intentional about it. And so I would just want to share that with others, that some of the things that we do at work, they work at home, and some of the things that we do at home, like compassion,
Mm-hmm.
having understanding, having patience, they're transferable into the workforce.
So good. Those are great tips. I wish I would have talked to you when my kids were growing up in my home. I would have, I would have definitely done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been so great. So how do you get your clients, Doris? I know a lot of people are looking for, again, okay, what is she doing? How is she doing this? And now she's expanding her team. How do you get your clients?
So I'll be honest with you, I have been so fortunate that a lot of my clients come through referrals. A lot of my
Okay.
clients come through referrals. And then I have a business development day. So maybe here's a nugget. I spent the last 2 years as a solopreneur, and I have been very structured in how I'm utilizing my time. So on
Mm-hmm.
my business development day, I sit down and I look for clients and work. I think about who my ideal client is, which is medium to large size corporations, or they work
Mm-hmm.
in medium to large size corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And I research companies that are expanding. So I get on there and I do the legwork. I research these companies, I make contact, but I work really hard on that business development piece. Also, I'm registered with 7 states. Um, uh, I'm registered as a vendor with 7 states. And so I look at
Mm-hmm.
those proposals that come out for the opportunity to do executive coaching and leadership development for some of our public
Mm-hmm.
service leaders. And then I put in proposals for that. But I do a combination of, again, dedicating time to doing that research, submitting proposals for conferences, just different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have my assistants that are going to be helping me with that. But that's how I have grew my business. And
Yeah.
again, referrals. Don't be afraid to
Mm-hmm.
ask for that referral. At the end,
Right.
hey, is there anybody else you think could benefit from from the services that I provided? Please, please, please refer me. I do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of social media promotion, and not so that I get something that day, but so that I'm top of mind when someone thinks
Yeah.
of something. So I have friends that are like, oh my God, they said we needed a speaker for this, and you're the first person I thought about. I'm like,
That's
yes.
what you want. That's right. No, that's great. That's great. So and so you're right outside of Florida, you said, or you're in Florida.
Orlando, Florida.
You're in okay,
Yeah, right outside
Orlando.
Orlando, Florida. Mhm.
Awesome. Awesome. So you get a lot of your clients through referrals and things like that. what are kind of your big goals for 2025? We're kind of in the beginning of the year here. It's February as we're having this conversation. What are your big goals? Where do you see yourself going?
Wow. All right. So for this year, I did a vision bingo because my goals were so lofty and big. I was like, you know what? I want to hit a bingo this year. And so I think the biggest thing on there, I want to land my first six-figure client. So in the
Mm,
business, it's one thing, but just that one client, that one signature package, I want to sell at that
hmm
level. So that's one of my goals there. My other big goal is I want to apply for a TEDx.
okay.
Yeah, and so I'm getting my speaker reel together and
hmm
working on all those details. And so I want to put my application in to land a TEDx spot.
Okay.
So
And
yeah,
what are you
that's
hoping that will do for you?
I'm hoping that it'll give me the exposure that I need. I am promoting my second book that drops next
hmm
month. It's called Pieces to Peace: How I
Okay.
Overcame Corporate and COVID. And I talk
Mm,
about my exit out of corporate America. I talk
hmm
about my healing and how COVID was really the interruption of everything. I was hospitalized for
hmm
7 days on oxygen for 3 months. And doing that
Oh my
quietness,
goodness.
yeah, doing that quietness, it really encouraged me to start thinking about life differently. And
Yeah.
so that's what helped, propel that leap out into
hmm
entrepreneurship because I wanted to make sure that I was living the life that I really wanted to live and
hmm
not the life that was just comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So, and again, you're talking about being intentional in everything that you're doing. I
Yeah.
love that how you are not only intentional in your work, but you're also intentional at home with how what you're doing with your kids. I think, oh my gosh, such a great takeaways for people. What do you see? What stopped you so far from getting those six-figure clients?
I believe it's just mere access to the right type of client.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay.
Access to the right type of client. I think again, I'm 2 years in. I'm continuing to grow. I'm getting larger and larger clients. It's just a matter of access at this point.
Thank you so much for being here. This has been great, Keith, and it's such great takeaways for people. So I hope they'll use those and apply them to their business, to their life, to their coaching, whatever it is they're doing.
And thank you so much again for the opportunity.
You are welcome. All right, everyone. Want to thank you for joining us for Expert in Your Showcase. Please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like and share the show as well so other people can hear from brilliant people like Doris and get those the same takeaways and that expertise. So thank you, everyone. Rock your business and God bless you. Bye-bye.
If you are ready to attract high paying clients like clockwork, build powerful influence and scale your business with these, let's talk. Book a complimentary $1 million accelerator strategy call at acarden.com to discover how the Expert in You method can help you create a steady stream of premium clients and consistent revenue growth. Don't wait. Your next big breakthrough starts with a simple conversation. Visit acarden.com and let's make it happen. Have an amazing day and God bless you.